As a project manager, leadership is a big part of the job. But being a great project manager is about more than simply leading a team to complete a project. It's about supporting the people on your team to do their best work and enabling people to build things they're proud of. In this video, we'll define teamwork and explain why it's important for successful project management. The best leaders are able to get people to work together. That's why a project manager's ability to develop and lead teams that work well together is so important. But before we go further, let's pause and consider, what exactly is a team? Though there are many different definitions of the word team, here's how we describe it here at Google. A team is a group of people who plan, solve problems, make decisions, and review progress in service of a specific project or objective. Team members rely on each other to get things done. For example, a software engineering team might be tasked with creating one seamless software experience that meets users' needs. Beyond coordinating with the project manager, members of the software engineering team will also coordinate with one another as they work toward their shared goal. Teams differ from work groups, which we define as being based on organizational or managerial hierarchy. Though people within a work group might be working toward a common goal, their work is more likely to be coordinated, controlled, or assigned by a single person or entity. For example, a work group focused on quality assurance testing might be tasked with running a set of test plans. The group manager might split up that work and assign each quality assurance tester a plan to review. But unlike a team, the testers will work independently of one another to complete their tasks and will coordinate mainly with the manager and the development team of the feature they're testing. Teams and work groups each have unique benefits within a larger organization. But for the purpose of this program, we'll focus on teams. More specifically, we'll discuss how project managers develop and lead effective teams by fostering a culture of teamwork. Teamwork is an effective collaborative way of working in which each person is committed to and heading toward a shared goal. Teamwork maximizes the individual strength of each team member to bring out the best in each person. As you might imagine, teamwork is a crucial part of successful project management. There are a few reasons for this. For one, teamwork fosters creativity. A team might leverage the diverse perspectives, skills, and experiences of their members to devise better solutions and build products that address more diverse user needs than they might have if they were working independently of each other. Teamwork also encourages accountability. The knowledge that the execution of your tasks directly impacts the tasks of the rest of the team can be a powerful motivator. And most importantly, teamwork helps you get stuff done. Big, complex projects need smart, capable people to complete tasks and to reach milestones to meet the project goals. As the project manager, it's your job to encourage others to actively engage in working together as a team to foster creativity, encourage accountability, and to get stuff done. Teamwork is an effective collaborative way of working, and when done right, it can positively impact both measurable team results and the team culture. Teams are made up of individuals, and individuals are driven by different motivators, whether that's serving their organization, supporting their family, or simply working on projects they think are cool. You'll need to learn about the people on your team in order to best determine how to motivate everyone at the same time. A few years ago, researchers here at Google set out to identify the dynamics of effective teams. And through this research, they identified 5 factors that have an impact on team effectiveness. In order of importance, those 5 factors are psychological safety, dependability, structure and clarity, meaning, and impact. Let's break these down. Let's start with psychological safety, which is the #1 factor that impacts team effectiveness. Here's how our researchers define it. Psychological safety refers to an individual's perception of the consequences of taking an interpersonal risk. In other words, they believe it's safe to take risks within their team and they don't risk being labeled as ignorant, incompetent, negative, or disruptive. On teams with high psychological safety, teammates feel comfortable taking risks around fellow team members, seeking differing opinions, and resolving interpersonal conflict when it comes up. For example, on my team at Google, we like to say, be direct and kind. We've worked really hard to build a team culture in which we can hold one another accountable while maintaining a shared space that is safe, secure, and peaceful. What I've found is that when opportunities to take risks do arise, like pitching an out-of-the-box idea to my directors, for example, this culture of mutual respect has already laid the groundwork to get direct feedback without frustration or worrying that I might embarrass myself. And that's been invaluable in maintaining a high level of psychological safety for the team. Next, we have dependability. Google's researchers explain it this way. On dependable teams, members are reliable and complete their work on time. Creating a dependable team requires a combination of setting, negotiating, and meeting expectations. Yes, your team needs to meet the expectations set for them. At the same time, you, as the project manager, need to establish a two-way relationship with your team. You have to be able to clearly communicate expectations and ensure that the team feels comfortable negotiating with you when needed. For example, it's likely that a person on your team works on 2 or more projects with competing deadlines. If they're afraid to share their own constraints with you, then their work on both projects might suffer. Alternatively, if they come to you with their concerns, an open understanding and negotiation around priorities could help ease their burden. Next, we have structure and clarity. Here's how our researchers define it. Structure and clarity refers to an individual's understanding of job expectations, knowledge of how to meet those expectations, and the consequences of their performance. Each team member has a clear sense of their individual role, plans, and goals, and they have a sense of how their work affects the group. You, as the project manager, can help foster a sense of structure and clarity on the team. For example, if a project structure and tracking are sloppy, unorganized, and incohesive, then the team's output is likely to be sloppy, unorganized, and incohesive. This can cause tension within the team. Alternatively, if you diligently engage in project tracking, your team will have clarity, feel more united, and will be able to effectively collaborate. Meaning also impacts team effectiveness. Google's researchers define meaning in this context as finding a sense of purpose either in the work itself or in the results of that work. For example, your teammates might find meaning in supporting themselves financially, helping the team reach its goals, or wanting their products to reach a new community of users. And finally, we have impact. Our researchers define impact as the belief that the results of one's work matters and creates change. It can be challenging for people to notice how their work can shift an entire ecosystem forward. Part of your role as the project manager is to help individual teammates identify how they drive impact, both within the team and beyond it. Project tracking can be a helpful tool for visualizing progress and impact. Meeting milestones, for example, demonstrates to the team how their individual tasks contribute to the larger project goals. For example, my team focuses on routing within Google Maps. The big idea is to focus on helping people to get to where they're going on time. So everything we do should make that experience incrementally better. And that's how we add impact. To recap, Google's researchers identified psychological safety, dependability, structure and clarity, meaning, and impact as the top 5 factors that have an impact on team effectiveness.